Life does not change when a man becomes busy. It changes when he chooses what he returns to. In a world built on noise, the quietest habits shape the strongest men. Consumption versus creation. Noise versus silence. And most people never realize that. The way they spend their free time is quietly deciding the kind of person they become. These 10 hobbies may look simple, even ordinary at first glance, but each one can reshape confidence, discipline, and inner peace in ways most men never expect. Because if you keep drifting through empty habits, life stays reactive. But if you choose one practice and return to it consistently, everything starts to move. And that is where the real problem begins: modern restlessness. Most people are not tired. They are overstimulated, scattered, and disconnected from meaningful effort. They live in chaos and call it normal. They stay busy but not grounded. They perform for the world but rarely feel authentic in private. Chaos versus peace. Performance versus authenticity. Seneca warned that it is not that we have little time, but that we waste much of it. And that is the real problem. Passive habits do not just consume hours, they create inner noise. Most people never realize that what they do in their free hours is often what shapes their future mood, confidence, and identity. Hobbies are not extra things. They are training grounds for attention, patience, and self-command. And the first place to begin is with the quiet hobbies, the ones that rebuild the mind before they rebuild the body. The first 3 hobbies are simple, but they are powerful. Walking alone without headphones, journaling, and reading Stoic philosophy. These practices do one thing modern life rarely allows. They slow the mind down instead of feeding it more. Stimulation, inner authority versus outer noise. Reflection versus reaction. A walk turns confusion into distance. Journaling turns emotion into language. Reading philosophy turns pain into perspective. Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus understood this well. They used thought as a discipline, not as entertainment. And that is what makes these habits quiet weapons against overthinking, emotional chaos, and self-deception. What separates the grounded from the restless is often not talent, but the willingness to sit with themselves long enough to become clear. But clarity alone is not enough. A clear mind still needs a strong body to carry it. The next group is physical, lifting weights, running, and martial arts or boxing. Discipline versus comfort, reaction versus control. These hobbies teach the mind what words never can. They show you how to endure discomfort without quitting, how to stay calm under pressure, and how to keep moving when motivation disappears. Strength training builds self-respect through consistency. Running builds resilience through repetition. Martial arts build humility, timing, and composure under stress. The hidden cost of avoiding physical challenge is simple. The mind stays fragile while the ego stays inflated. Most people never realize that confidence is often not a feeling. It is a byproduct of kept promises under pressure. And once a man becomes physically steady, he is ready for the next level, not just to endure life, but to sustain it. Cooking and gardening are different, but they teach the same truth. Dependence versus self-respect. Instant gratification versus slow competence. Cooking teaches care, patience, and control over what enters your life. Gardening teaches that growth cannot be forced, only respected. Both hobbies ground a man in reality: effort, timing, repetition, and result. They reconnect him to something many people lose completely: the ability to create nourishment instead of only consuming it. The hidden cost of never learning to make or grow anything is a life that depends on convenience to feel complete. And once a man can build and sustain with his own hands, he is ready for the final step: the quiet skills that sharpen stillness, precision, and presence. The final 2 hobbies are woodworking, or any hands-on craft, and meditation or breathwork. Noise versus silence, chaos versus peace. Woodworking sharpens patience, focus, and craftsmanship. It teaches the deep satisfaction of building something real with your own hands. Meditation trains the opposite skill, doing nothing except being present, steady, and aware. Together, They create a rare combination of strength and stillness. A Stoic man understands this. The one who can sit in silence without needing distraction is harder to break than the one who is always escaping himself. What separates the calm from the chaotic is not escape. It is mastery of attention. And once a man finds one practice that truly grounds him, the only thing left is consistency. The hobby does not need to be impressive. It needs to be consistent. That is the difference between the weak man and the strong one. The weak man starts endlessly, quits quickly, and keeps chasing stimulation because he cannot stay with anything long enough to change. The strong man chooses one path and returns to it until it becomes part of who he is. Pick one hobby. Protect. 1 hour a week. Treat it like a Stoic commitment to your future self. Your life changes when your habits stop being random and start becoming intentional, because the hidden cost of never choosing is a life of distraction, restlessness, and unrealized potential. So comment the one hobby you are starting today, and if this spoke to you, subscribe for the next Stoic lesson.